Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. We have Grillo Parlante. Grillo Parlante. It means, what does it mean? It means Jiminy Cricket. Jiminy Cricket, that's the character's name. I guess in the Italian version of Pinocchio, right? I'm pretty sure it's Pinocchio. So he sent this in to me and said he had a really great game, and he did in fact. But he says he's only been in this kind of carry situation a couple times, three times, and he said this is the first one he's actually won. So a great result. He's got this thing too marked, the Lorraine 40T, Tier 8, French autoloading premium medium tank. So he definitely knows how to get around and put some shots down range. He does a really nice job pretty much the whole game with his management of his clips. So just watch what he does with that, and we'll talk about it as we go. Now here's an interesting thing right here, G-Man. GP, I'm going to call you GP rather than trying to roll the R's constantly here, the R's. The T-29's cruising along. Look at that little V right there. You want to move right up in here, try to protect yourself from the left. Wait for him to cross right there. You actually get to it, but you're too far over to the left. You look this way, and then you see him doing it, and then you back down, and we're backing over here. And had we been over yonder, right about here, keeping myself protected a little bit more from up on their sniper hill, I might have had a better shot through that V, probably when he was back over here. And it's the little things like that that are going to make a big difference in these games. Take a shot, you end up bouncing, and we're going to back out. We actually get lit, so now we get, I think right here, the T-27 is going to take the V's. Yeah. He takes one shot, and I don't know if he actually shoots in again. That's kind of foolish for him not to just shoot away at you. And a little bit too little lead fire, and we get a little bit in a kerfuffle right there and miss a couple shots on these guys as they're tucking up on that cover that's up on that high road there, and they're fighting a couple of your tanks. And now we're kind of in the middle. We got a T-29 sitting there, 3045. T-29's over by the ramp, 3045, and a Churchill camping, unknown on the AC-46, and quite a few, and it looks like most of their Tier 8s. Now that was a nice job there noticing that when they get low on that hill like that, when they drop down from the hill, more than likely they are targetable because there's not much cover once they fall off that road. They're just in amongst those trees there. So he forces a reload. The 3601's doing the best he can. The Mod 1 is taking shots. Down goes the ARL-44. There's a scrap going on up in the north up there. You know, your top tier, that's one of those cases right there where you just really wish it was reloaded because you could have let that guy have it. Top tier, I may have gone to the northwest on this one. I may have gone to the northwest, but let's watch because you're doing a decent job of getting shots in the middle. The problem is your spotter is about to mort. So down goes the 3601, and we're in a bit of a pickle over here. We're in the middle, and they own the southeast right there, and that's going to be difficult because they also still are sitting on their sniper hill, and you don't have a lot of place to run if you end up getting spotted. Plus, there are 3 artillery, and this is quite exposed. You're in a decent place for defending from artillery. You can actually dive down here, but once you dive down where the 54 Mod 1 is, now these dudes have shots all day. So you're probably feeling a little bit exposed right here. Then the T-3045 makes a move, a bad move it turns out. And much like when you shoot at the Carnarvon, for whatever reason, the enemy team is just not ready to deal with you appearing. Take a couple shots, don't quite have the reload. Oh, it gets out of your depression. We're going to have to drive up and over. And we do that without taking any kind of real damage. We actually bounce a shot from the 3045 on the run right there. Back up and no artillery. We have one shot. Looks like we're looking for that. Waiting a little bit. You know, if they pop out, you got it. Now you're running away. They're dark. And I think we go, yep, there we go. See how he hits C right there and reloads it? So really solid job all day with managing the reload. And if you're going to 2-mark a Lorraine, you probably have a pretty good idea how to keep the clip going, keep the clip cooking. Now the problem is the whole southeast side has failed. We got a 6-6 ball game, but your heavies have won in the northwest, and unfortunately, as most players are wont to do, they've decided to push across the open. So we'll see how that goes for them. Let's see how that goes for them down there. But GP has better ideas. He understands that threat is coming to the cap from over here, and he falls back looking for shots, and he gets spotted doing that. And again, we're a little bit worried about artillery. Got to be careful about that. But once I'm spotted there, there's no real reason to stay here, GP. You're just asking to be RD'd or sniped at. I'd have fallen back off the hill, and then headed back this way and see if you can't get up and over into the bushes there without being spotted. And it looks like you're backing up. That's a good idea. There you go. So there's the same idea I was just talking about. You had it, and you're going to head back this way. Looks like you cut it a little early, see if you get lit maybe. Is that enough? Looks like it was just enough. Oh, and there's a medium up in your grill there. Up in your grille. All right, what is he doing? We can't see him. He's behind. Nope, he's behind that box, unfortunately. I wouldn't have sat there, but turns out it was a good idea because now we get maybe the IS. First one misses. Oh, there we go. Get it into the back. We're going to dive back down. I think he reloads here. No, we're going to go after the AC. AC is sitting there. Take a shot. Very nice. Oh, that's only a track, and we're lit. He's looking at us, and we miss. Now, that's going to be very important. We'll look at that a little while later. Had those 2 shots gone in, it would have been much easier end game in this game. We're starting to lose, though, 8-10. And guess what's happened to our heavy push into their cap? Well, it's no mystery. They're all dead. Minus the Black Prince, who is not long for the world. And we're on a reload, so we're going to push up here. We find the Skirta, and the Skirta is a 2-shot to us, so that's a very good thing. We're running around, I believe, with a 300 Alpha gun, so we look at that and go, yes, I should easily 2-shot this guy unless I get some kind of gross low roll. So let's see what happens here. I think this is the right answer. You need to go right in and get rid of this Skoda while he doesn't have any support. The rest of your tanks took out a couple more of them, so that helped make the cleanup operation here a little bit easier. There he is. So we come in here, we hit, we ram, takes a while to reload, and we kill him off. And now we've got the AC. And remember those missed shots and the bounced or whatever it was, the one in the track? We take one, very good. Let's see if we can kill him. And we shoot right before fully aimed in, and we miss. So that is a great big bummer right there. Had a couple more of those gone in, that guy is gone. But that's RNG, so we got to deal with that. We're going to fade back, and it looks like we've gone to gold now as the fight or the battle is in the balance. Come back up around here. Be careful about knocking down trees. So let's talk about what you've done so far. Nice job in the middle. I probably would have gone to the northwest with this. I feel like you would have been a huge combat multiplier up there. Had you been with them, they probably would have beat that northwest up much faster. And then when you turned around and came back, they may have followed you. So I think that's what I would have done. However, you've got 3,000 damage, and you did it from the middle and falling back to the cap. So not bad either. I would say probably a lot of very good players would say that was the play. Go to the middle as long as it was producing, and then flex to where you're needed from there. Just for me, top tier like this, with this tank and what you were facing, I probably would have gone over to the heavy corner. Of course, what would I have missed? I would have missed farming the Carnarvon, who was either AFK or I don't know what. So it's one of those mixed bags kind of thing. So we're looking around. Now, back up just a second to when you saw the AC-46. I think I would have moved forward. I would have moved forward after I took those 2 shots because I wasn't lit, and I would have headed for these bushes over here, or maybe for these bushes here, because I don't really want to lose contact with him for this long. I know you had a reload, and that was something you had to do that Artie's just randomly shooting in, apparently. You had a reload, and that's the thing you were worried about right there, but even with a tank like this, you can still kind of maintain contact. Now the problem is I don't know where the heck this guy has gone. So we're going to hang out right here. And if you look at it, the Churchill 7, he's been at the cap the whole time. I don't really expect him to move. He might now, as we're towards the end game. I happen to know what he does. But he's been camping the whole time, so if he moves, he's probably not going to do it in a very smart way, and I would sort of expect him to more or less be at cap, especially if it's close like this. And then the Ally 44 drowns. I don't know how he managed that, but he did. And it is now a 1v4 with 4 kills and 3,000 damage. So is he going to pull it off? Will GP make this happen right here? And I feel like you probably need to, again, avoid knocking down trees. You probably need to make a move, and nice job. For whatever reason, he just decides to drive across the open there. Probably figured you were turtled up in the trees. It goes very poorly for him. You take 2 shots, you're not lit, you force a reload, and that's exactly right. That's the right idea. So we're going to hang out right here. Another shot comes in here at some point. I think the artillery randomly fires in here. They've done it a couple times. Now we're waiting for that reload. So about the time you're finished with it, you're going to push out and you need to start looking for them. And that's kind of that end game decision making right now. Plus, you need to start bringing the clock into your cross check. We're at 5 minutes. It's going to take a while for you to track these guys down. My suspicion is they're all sitting at cap, but some kind of interesting things are going to happen right here. We're going to move up to this ridge. And what I would have done in this case, I'd have gone to the middle and poked over and seen if I couldn't find the Churchill and hopefully outspot him. I'd have been very careful with the spotting line right there and just sort of peek over and see if he's up on one of those ridges up there. And hopefully I could spot him before he spotted me and get at least 1, maybe 2 shots, kill him off, and then move from there. I would be very careful about just driving up and over looking for him, because the middle, if the 2 artillery get a hold of you and he sees you, then you're in big trouble. This is also a good idea, though. You're coming up and around through the cover, and then you cut across the open area here. I'm not sure I would have done that, but time is becoming an issue. So we'll move through here using the buildings as cover. That's good, because if the Churchill spots you from over there, at least you have a place to go hide for a moment. And all of a sudden, one of the M44s is making a move, which that made me laugh. So we're going to find him here. We'll take a shot, and then he covers up. We're sort of looking at him. And I tell you, once I fired, I'd have been moving, because had he lit you when you fired, just sitting there and waiting for him to pop out would have been a bummer. You know where he is, so go get him. Take that shot, you hit him, you know he's going to go behind that cover. Just spin around, start heading this way. Now let's talk about approaches, because this is one of the biggest things that people goof up in game. What is the threat right now? The threat really is the other artillery. You've got the GW Panther, which can hit pretty hard. You're a very soft tank. He can actually, can he one-shot you? Yes, you're at 653. I believe he can fairly easily, with a penetration, one-shot you. He can certainly cause a lot of damage, and you'd like to avoid that. If he takes half your hit points or 2/3 away, all of a sudden you're a 1 or 2 shot to a Churchill 7, which is going to have little trouble penning you. So you've got the M44 cornered, but you don't want the other artillery to take a shot. And if he does see you, you want it to be at the last minute. And the problem is your approach is you're going to proxy light yourself by just driving kind of straight out where that guy was. So you know the ramp is over here. Why not just come wide around this way, so that as you blaze up the ramp, he spots you at the last possible instance. If he's still sitting here and you get that shot, the way you go, you're actually going to go right up near him. And if he's still tucked up against these rocks, which he is, you're going to get lit. Now that may have been your plan, to find out if he's there, but he just found out you're there and you're not ready to kill him. So had you come around this way, had you made your approach this way and blazed up here, you probably would have surprised him a lot better. And so now the other artillery has all kinds of time, and potentially the Churchill if he's anywhere nearby. So we're going to come raging around here. I think this M44 is actually trying to turn to shoot you. There you go, little auto aim, keep going. And there's the enemy artillery that actually missed, so nice job there. Force a reload, I liked that. And now we are pressing in. And I think, again, we're talking about the approach. So I would have gone the general direction you're going, and after about 12 seconds, I'd have blitzed off the edge of this ridge right here and then come up underneath. Blitzed off the edge and maybe even go to the middle, but again, time's becoming a factor, but blitz off the edge and come up this way, because you're telegraphing, hey, I'm coming, here I come, I'm coming straight down this way, and as you go dark, you just cut right, come down through here, and come up underneath these guys. If you can get underneath on this ramp, now you are making that arty shot very much more difficult against you, and Churchills have terrible gun depression, and you're forcing him to come off the edge of that to take you on. And then you make kind of a mistake here. I'm not really sure. I guess you're thinking, well, I'll just stay under cover if I go through this water, which is going to happen right here. I didn't realize this is that deep, because I've never really driven into it. And you're like, all right, I'll just drive through, and then you think, oh boy. And I was thinking, well, I know the results, so he doesn't die here, but holy cow, that was a lot closer than you wanted to be. And it cost you time. So you're probably, what, cost you 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds by the time you get going. And we're going right through the middle. And that's why, another reason why I would have probably dove down here. If I was the Churchill, I'd be sitting in those bushes, knowing that you're coming that way, spotting for the artillery to hit you, maybe get you down to a 1 or 2 shot, and then start blazing away at you. But unfortunately, he's not there, for him anyway. We get an interesting result. You know, I mentioned that he's probably still camping. Well, it turns out he finally actually moved, and we're going to find out where he is in just a minute. Not a bad approach there. You weren't spotted, so come up here and see if you can get a little bit of a looky-loo at these guys. There's a bush here on the left of this rock. I'd have gone into that bush first and just taken a quick look and then moved on. You don't have the knocks to wait for. Just make sure you couldn't see him. Didn't matter. You didn't see anybody, so we're going to come down here. Oh, there's somebody. Somebody's on the cap. I thought it was the GW based on where everybody was sitting, but turns out the GW is just sitting right there. He doesn't even take a shot, so I'm not really sure what he was doing. We go off of that, we hit C, and now we're reloading. Why? Because we know we've got a long drive, and it's going to be pretty easy to get reloaded by the time we get over there. And fortunately, the enemy team is giving me a complete get out of jail free card. I know exactly where he is. I can go right at him. One other option would have been to jump on their cap if he hadn't jumped on yours. Of course, it would just be a draw now at this point, even had you just jumped on immediately. So we're just going to push in here, and he actually gets a spot on you, unfortunately. Just enough of his turret is poking up there, he ends up seeing you. And now, this is another telegraph thing right here. Again, it's approaches. And it's a big deal at the end of the game. Well, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go straight up, hey diddle diddle, right up the middle, thinking, oh my gosh, I have to get shots on this guy. But you've got 40 seconds. So really what you wanted to do, instead of coming straight at this, was to go right or left, up here or over here, and use the gun depression off the side of the tank. After you went forward long enough that you thought you were coming straight up, zing over there and come up in a different place. That just gives you a few more moments while he has to try to aim. As it is, he's going to know exactly where you're coming up. He's probably looking directly at you. So we come up and over, we shoot, miss, unfortunately. I would have taken very, very careful aim on this, all right? And this is, you're going to make it a lot closer than it needs to be, right? You've only got 2 more shells, and they need to be decent rolls, right? Two standard rolls, 300 will be enough, but if you get some kind of crazy low roll, this guy might live, and he's starting to whittle you down. He's got about 3 shots till you're done. And I think you actually bounced one, so you need to aim right for that weak front armor, at least to your tank, you know, right there. But we're really kind of just assuming we're going to win. There's one. I think you finally get serious about aiming right here. There you go. And we take it down. So that's another thing in game, is being careful with stuff like that where you think you've got it. You still got to try to play to your maximum performance, and don't forget the basics. Nice game, man. 8 kills, 4,542 damage, 438 assists. That was a fantastic game. I just want a couple things thrown out there. I thought you were doing all the right things as far as idea-wise, a little bit on the execution that I talked about, but a fantastic result, Radley Walters. Thanks for sending that in, man. I thought that was a great one for learning. I appreciate it, and we will see you.